yeah. I'm the Director of Prevention and Outreach at End Domestic Abuse Wisconsin. And we were the first funder for the Black Youth Alliance Wisconsin, a program of We All Rise African American Resource Center. Back in 2017, when the Black Youth Alliance of Wisconsin was funded with then a $70,000 to $80,000 a year grant, it was pretty evident early on that $80,000 weren't going to be enough to really support the young people holistically, including their families. Robin communicated with me, her funder at the time, that they were going to need much more financial support in order to meet the needs of the young people that they were serving. I thought that it would be helpful to facilitate an action plan with Robin and her team about envisioning what all would be necessary steps in order to move in this vision that she had to support the young people and their families more holistically. That process started around the kitchen table at Robin's house. I remember some of the very first commitments being around making sure that safe places and safe spaces were provided for families to come speak their truths and young people to be unapologetically free and be able to share their stories. Find a space that met the needs of the young people and their families, a space in the community where folks could come to for services. Earlier on, it was really about putting something in place for them to feel organized and coordinated and feel confident that they could really carry out this plan and this vision of moving from not only having a 501c3 status, but having an actual building where they could call home. Probably the biggest thing is to see them go from an after-school program to an entire comprehensive organization that has a building and again a place that they can call home. That's incredible. I don't know that I've ever seen an organization grow that quickly, and so now the only other supports I can really offer as a technical assistance and a training provider is to really encourage Robin and the team to start finding other avenues of unrestricted revenue and funding, because as we know, government grants come with a lot of strings attached, and as someone who manages a government grant, I know all too well the barriers that sometimes it has with allowable costs and things like that. And so knowing that the majority of the funding that We All Rise has at this point is from government grants makes me want to be of support to the organization to really find some unrestricted revenue sources, fundraisers like this or foundations that really allow the families that come here for services to identify their needs and for us to be able to tell them, yes, that's something that we can provide. Even if it maybe isn't allowable in a government grant, that we have this cushion of dollars and funding to support the holistic needs of the families that are experiencing violence. I am only aware of one other service provider in the state of Wisconsin that is a culturally specific program for the African American community, and that's the Asha Project in Milwaukee. And I know that they were one of the first in the nation. So the work that is happening here in Green Bay to serve the African American community is so critical. It allows a space for folks in the Black community to be able to access services and be able to see people who look like them and really understand in a really authentic and deep way their experiences of what it's like to grow up Black in America. And so for me, I think that this service is critical. I know a lot of Black folks in the community won't access other services because of this discrimination and prejudice that comes along with accessing those services. Being able to walk in the doors and see people who look like you seems surface level, but it really does pull back the layers so that you can really share your story without judgment and really know that the person on the receiving end is experienced with providing supports and holistic services to meet your needs so that we can begin to heal and begin to offer programming for our young people so that they can begin to build lives that they feel value. It's really about uplifting and celebrating. Helping our folks that come through the doors be able to get to that place is certainly something that not other agencies are able to do. It's nothing like I'd imagined that they would go from an $80,000 grant to, in less than 2 years, upwards of $750,000 a year. That just goes to show how important this work is, how huge the gap is here in the Brown County and Green Bay area specifically around meeting the needs of the African American community here. It's really clear that folks feel safe accessing services here. I know that the need is only gonna continue to grow, and it's really up to us as a community to rally around supports like this. So as a funder, I'm just super proud of We All Rise African American Resource Center for really putting their vision on paper and really following through and executing the plan that we put in place when I facilitated that first action plan with them. Huge thanks to all of our sponsors. So community, it's really up to us.